What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin. We're going to actually do, a little hint of the overall market kind of analysis too, talking about the direction potentially for most, if not all, altcoins in the coming days, along with Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin does somewhat lead the pack, right? I mean, not somewhat, very much leads the pack. I just say somewhat because there have been coins this past week that have been doing things different than Bitcoin, or even front-running Bitcoin, doing their move before Bitcoin did its move. So enough of that. If you guys would like to leave a like or subscribe on the video, that's always appreciated. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about the TA now, moving into that. So looking at this thing on the weekly, we had a very bullish week close last week, and I say very bullish, but it's truthfully not that like crazy, you guys. It's a 6.65%, and I feel like a lot of people are getting crazy, thinking that it's go time now. Here we go. 6.65%, like it's, even this week here, 15%, like that's not much for Bitcoin. I mean, I guess that's pretty significant, but that's not much for Bitcoin. This 6% is a lot, in comparison to like the neutral weeks that we've had about the last like month or two of just very neutral price actions, but it's only less than 7%. So the fact that people are getting super excited and mega bullish right now on a move like this might tell me that, we're a little bit over euphoric to the upside still. Just like if we were to break down about 6%, people would be mega bearish and say we're going to 20K. I think, however this move came about, it would have just implied a reversal at some point with the kind of emotions that are flying high. And I know that it doesn't seem like it now. We do have 5 days and 21 hours left in this week. There's a lot of time. We're only down 1.44% right now. We definitely could turn it around and come to the upside. But I do think we go lower. Or, maybe not lower than this low here, but lower than the price right now. I do think that we still can go lower than this price here, but maybe not, you guys, maybe not. Finding a rejection at the 0.5 historically for Bitcoin has provided significant moves to the downside. This look in itself would lead me to believe that we see some kind of extension, but right now, this is how it looks, right? We are 5 days, 21 hours away from this week. We do have a wick here, away from this week closing. We do have a wick here. Bouncing off of this, coming up green, it would look actually very bullish if we close this thing green. So don't, make assumptions or jump to conclusions before we have confirmation. And even the week closing red like this still isn't confirming things. It just starts to look more bearish. Right now it has a bearish look. Closing the week here or lower would promote a further bearish look, and then getting another week to kind of confirm that we are going down and we're not going up, that would promote an even more bearish look. But not whenever I say all these things, I don't mean that it's going to below 20K or zero. I do have this kind of price area here expected from these previous weekly closing highs, somewhere around about $24,300 to the monthly closing highs over here and over here at about $23,150. Somewhere in this range is where I could expect us to go. If we look at the daily here, I'm going to get rid of all these lines real quick. Looking at the daily, we have found resistance on the purple line, an area that we found support before, we found resistance before, we found support before. Here we found resistance and we broke through it inevitably, right? When we did break through it, like truly, it was a great move, right? Just like when we broke through it to the downside, truly, it's a big move to the downside. We could be finding resistance here with the daily close that we had yesterday. This does look pretty bearish in my opinion, but all today has to do is close bullish. If we can get above this purple line in the coming days, this could look just kind of like a psych move, but that is a lot of volume. A lot of volume coming in at the top, which isn't a bad thing. I do think, seeing volume increasing as you're moving higher, even with a candle like this, could mean that you're just coming down to form a higher low and then move up from there. Maybe you come down below that low and overall still form a higher low. Bouncing off the 0.069 and the 236 are completely acceptable possibilities, right? And that's if you want to maintain the idea that we have higher lows. If you're like me and you're entertaining the idea that we could in fact form a lower low, we might not be done with this move overall yet. We could see a move that takes us, let's see, if we take this fib here from low to high, I'll get rid of these little things, and then I'll get rid of this overall fib. The 1272 is right, and the 1414 are right in this range of kind of expectations. So seeing something come down below, again, below about $24,300 and above $23,150, that would make sense to me, though it doesn't have to happen. And a move like that for Bitcoin, this is where we tie in altcoins and stuff like that. A move like that for Bitcoin would be, let's see, from the current price, would be like at a minimum of a 12%, maybe a 13%, maybe all the way down to like a 16% move, even something like that. It could go even lower. It's possible to go lower, let alone if it goes to 20K or something like that. But a move that's double digits in percentage value for Bitcoin to the downside, to me, that would imply that everything's going to drop more, right? If Bitcoin's dropping 10%, altcoins are dropping 20%. So just keep that in mind. You know, I don't think that all of them will. It's a very strong, like this is a good time, you guys, to kind of headhunt for altcoins that are going to be really beneficial in the coming bull market, that are going to do really well. You know, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt, but something that you can do to know if you found a solid project is look for what happens to altcoins, the altcoins that you're watching, when this next drop comes in. If Bitcoin drops 10% and this crypto that you're watching drops 10% as well, or it drops less, or it even moves up as Bitcoin's shitting the bed, you guys, that's going to be a top performer likely in the coming cycle. And I say likely because it's not a guarantee, but you know, if it's some shitcoin that nobody's heard of, it has a brand new chart as of a week ago, probably not. But if it's some coin that, you know, has some kind of community, has some grounds to it, definitely is a legitimate project. You know, stuff like that is worth paying attention to. And let's see, what was I going to say? Even if it goes down more than Bitcoin does, that doesn't mean that it's not capable of having a good market. These are just seeing altcoins drop just as much or less, or even pump while Bitcoin's dropping, tends to be a significant signal, especially in times like this. Not just in general for crypto, but in times like this when we're figuring our way through the bull market, the beginnings of the bull market. Now we're kind of in this area of just general accumulation, right? Like this whole phase since basically March of this year has just been accumulation. It's a consolidation phase on this move up overall. So this is bullish behavior. Even if we go down, it's still bullish behavior. It's just more accumulation for people to to get cheaper Bitcoins basically. And in this phase, if altcoins, instead of going down, are going up, that means that they're not like they're being accumulated at a faster rate basically. So it's just a bullish sign. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I'm not trying to ramble, so let's move on. Looking at the weekly RSI here, we are kind of in this downtrend in the weekly RSI. This is one of the strongest reasons why I do believe we're not done going down yet, because we're still in this. We're still in this here. And these kind of things have been very true to their nature. You know, there's something reliable as far as RSI formations goes. You know, you can see here we had this downtrend, and then look at this, right? When we broke this downtrend, officially broke it, right? It wasn't with this low, but it was here. When we broke this downtrend, right around here, guess what? That was the end of the end of the bear market. If you bought on that week there, this little neutral week, it actually broke this downtrend. Even if you bought after this week here, you would have bought at $20,000, which I think a lot of people are hungry for. So stuff like that is a big deal. You know, price, it can be a lagging indicator, sure, but it's still a big deal. And I don't think we're getting that now, which leads me to believe, again, coming back to the full circle idea, that going down below these lows here that we've bounced once off of, twice off of there, would make sense. But a lot of people, just as we moved up, coming back to the beginning of the video, just as we moved up 6.65% today, or not today, last week, and everybody seems mega bullish at the moment, ready for it to just go, you know, up to $38,000, $40,000, above that even right now. I want to bring it back to earth and just say we haven't done anything significant. This is still kind of an overall lower high, right? We are finding resistance at the 0.5 of this overall fib move, which generally for Bitcoin, when you do that, you tend to get a significant move to the other side. Another way to look at this, if you don't want to call this a rejection off the 0.5, you reached for your golden ratio, couldn't reach it. Maybe there was so much interest up here at selling and it got front ran to the downside. This kind of look on the 618 for Bitcoin has also been bad. So however you cut it, this isn't a good look. But we do have 5 days, 21 hours left in this week for this to turn bullish. Okay, there's a lot of time left. It's down 1.45% right now. It doesn't take a whole lot for this thing to look bullish. But just beware, I do think that there's a lot of sense to it going somewhere around here, if not down to that monthly closing area, which is what was that, 24,000 something, 23,000. It was 23,100, something like this, down around here was where that monthly closing area was. And then if we take this overall fib here from the low to the high, not the overall, but this more relative, I should say. 1272, 1618 is close to that area. The 1272 or the 1414 might be an area that we see support at. Bitcoin does like its 1272. Sometimes it likes its 1414 actually too, to be completely fair, but let's see. Going to the top here, your 382, I forgot about that. It's right there in line with this, and it is common to go a little bit below your 382. You don't have to bounce right off it, though you could. You really could. So just be aware of that. You know, at a minimum, you guys, I really do think that Bitcoin is going to drop at least 12% from here. Most altcoins will probably drop, if not double that, like 50% more than that. So instead of $12 or 12%, maybe they drop 18%. You know, or 24% or more. Some are going to drop 40% or more. And I'll, you know, as far as like what coins are going to do that, nobody really knows. If you guys have any requests, or you wonder if your coin is one of the ones that might go lower, you know, leave it in the comments or leave it in the Discord. I will leave a link to the Discord in the description below. You know, and I do requests on, you know, anything that you guys do requests on, I do that regularly. So if you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I think that's good enough. You know, I think Bitcoin's going to go lower, form a lower low, and then from there we can look at going higher. It is a good time, you guys, right now to be looking for coins that perform better than Bitcoin on this drop, because that'll be a very good sign that they're probably going to do well in this coming market. And again, just because a coin doesn't do better than Bitcoin on this drop doesn't mean that it's going to do bad, but this is the right time of market, or it's the right time in the cycle for things like that to matter, I would say. I definitely, you know, don't use that always. There are times when that won't matter. Like there are times in the bear market where Bitcoin's shitting and a coin for 1 week or 1 month does better, and then it ends up, you know, inevitably doing worse than Bitcoin overall. So don't, you know, maybe not in these kind of conditions, but these conditions right here, it's perfect for head hunting coins like that. If you have your eyes on a coin that you think is going to do well, if it does well on this drop in comparison to Bitcoin, it can even drop. It can drop from here, but if it drops 6% or 8% or 12% along with Bitcoin, maybe Bitcoin drops 12%, it drops 13%, something like that. Those are good signs, you guys. Those are good signs. So I'm going to leave it there. Cut the rambling out. Yeah, I think that's fine. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. I will leave a link in the description for the Discord. Thank you. Bye-bye.